Hi, hope you're all doing well today. My name is Lily Deng and I'm going to present to you my bullet journal app. So, a bit of background on me. I'm from New York City and I'm a junior at Queens College studying computer science. My mentor is LaShawn Lindsay. She's the director of infrastructure operations at Amazon Web Services and she's kind of great. So, if you want, you can connect with us on LinkedIn, but for my project, I took up Android app development to develop a virtual bullet journal. And if you don't know what a bullet journal is, it's basically a creative way to keep organized and journal your day. This is normally done in a notebook, but there are apps out there that do the same thing. It's just not a lot of people use them. And in my experience, when I tried bullet journaling, I found it awkward to carry around with me everywhere and write in public. And when I tried looking at apps, there was nothing there to keep me engaged and committed. So I wanted to learn how to design and code my own virtual bullet journal that's more functional and more engaging. So the first thing I did was conduct a Google survey. So I asked people what functionalities they'd like in a virtual bullet journal. And when I reached around 58 responses, I consolidated all those answers and they came out to be around like Google syncing and visuals and the ability to save memories. And I wouldn't have known that's what they wanted, but the customer's voice is the most important in this whole process. So I split my work into two phases. The first phase would be developing the foundational features like the to-do list and the calendar. Like I just easily get that out of the way. And then the second phase would be developing the more challenging features that the users wanted, like the Google syncing and the habit trackers. So it was my first time working with Android Studio, so I was a bit intimidated to even begin coding, but there's so many tutorials on YouTube and on the Android Studio website itself, and I found a lot of code on GitHub to reference, so I just realized there's this big coding community out there that's willing to help whoever reaches out. And that's especially true with my mentor LaShawn's colleagues who also code in Java. They looked at my code and they debunked all the problems that have been happening. Like, for example, I'd been struggling to save user data, and just having them with me made solving those problems so much easier and faster. And eventually I was able to get past phase 1 and move on to phase 2, which was implementing the more challenging features. So I looked at more tutorials and more code, and I was able to get around to complete the Google Calendar and the habit tracker. And it just made me so proud because I was able to do something that the users wanted. And up to this point, this is how my app looks. So here's the to-do list where you could just add a task, and if you make a mistake, you can always edit it and it'll save the changes. And if you're done, you can always delete it. There's also a user guide in case the user doesn't know how to navigate the app. And then the calendar, you just insert an event into any date and it'll save it. Like that. Alternatively, there's the Google Calendar where you just input all the details in the fields and it'll save it and redirect you to the Google Calendar, and you'll just need to adjust the date and the time. So it'll save into your Gmail and show up on your Google Calendar. Like that. So going back to the app, for the habit tracker, you just need to add a name for your habit and you just update it every day by just clicking on it, and you increment it, decrement it. If you're not feeling it anymore, you can always delete it and start anew if you want. And so that's how my app looks. It's not complete, but it's okay because I was able to learn a lot in the meantime. Like, I learned I had to manage my time better and set up realistic goals for myself because I had no idea app development took up so much time fixing and, testing things out. And so it did also bring in like a support system for me, like my family, LaShawn, her colleagues. I was able to go to them for like moral support and technical support. And it all just ultimately made me realize that there is room for improvement in my coding. And to fill those gaps, I signed up for a bunch of classes in app development, project management, and even some internships so I can like get more exposure in the field. So in the meantime, I'm going to keep updating my app and develop something meaningful for my portfolio. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you all had a good time in the program like I had.